Damn, it's cold. Cold as hell out here. But let me tell you, you got an X15? Well, I don't. I got a Detroit. So if you've got an X15, stand by, because we're gonna give you the most common issues. We did a poll on shop, talked to different shops, went on the old Googleatron, found out some information. Check us out, we're gonna let you know what they are. So as I said in the intro, we're going to tell you a little bit about some of the common issues that people are having with the X15. Unfortunately, ET doesn't have any in our fleet. We run Detroits, but we did ask around. We called a couple of shops. We actually called Cummins. We went on the internet, and we've got the most common. Now, these are in no particular order, except for the first one. The very first one with the X15, the most common problem is the fuel pump. They are having a problem right up to, I can't tell you about the 2022s, there's not enough data on that yet, but from 17 all the way to 21, the fuel pump is having issues and they've been having problems with it. There has been a recall, I believe February of 2021, there was a recall on them, but the common issues with fuel pump, we'll give you a couple of things to let you know that if you're having these issues, check your fuel pump. The first one is rough idling, excessive gas or excessive smoke coming out of your stacks. Check your fuel pump. Extended cranking is another one. Now, when guys start turning over their trucks and they're getting extended cranking, the first thing you think about is your injectors or your cups. Luckily for Cummins, they don't seem to have a problem with that in the new X15. Now remember, the X15 isn't a total rebuild package on the ISX, okay? It is almost on the same platform. They basically took the ISX, took a lot of the issues they were having with it, and they took them out. Replaced them, fixed them, and whatnot, and now you've got, they repackaged it and called it an X15. But one of the problems they are still having, obviously, is the fuel pump. They had that with the ISX, they're still having it with the X15. They do not have injector problems so far. Like, obviously, you're gonna have the odd injector failure, but that's just the price you pay for doing business. But they're not having an excessive amount of injector cup problems, as for say, like Volvo is, or Volvo did. I don't think Detroit had a whole lot of them. But excessive cranking is what you would obviously think of injectors. On the Cummins, on the X15, check your fuel pump. The next biggest thing on the list is low power. If you're driving along, you're climbing hills and you're not getting up the hills, you know, obviously you know your engine. Once you've had the truck for a while and you've been driving it, you know that engine. If you're not getting the power, you feel that you've got a loss of power, everybody starts going, oh my God, the air intakes, your manifold, your air to air. Yes, those are all relevant. Check your fuel pump. On these Cummins, check your fuel pump. So the fuel pump is the biggest issue so far that they've had. They've had a recall on it. Those are a couple of the things to look for. So check your fuel pump. The next issue is something that I'd never even heard of, but when we were talking to the different shops, we had 3 guys in a row pick this off, telling us that this is something that they're dealing with. And this is from the 17 up to the 21 years. The 2022s are not dealing with this right now. And there is a recall on this. If you've got one of these engines, call in if you didn't get a recall on it. And the cap screws that hold the flywheel on to the camshaft, or the crankshaft, sorry, they've been improperly torqued. They're not torqued properly, and they are coming loose. And when that happens, you are going to have a boo. You're gonna have parts flying. So check that. It was just funny. I've never heard of that problem. I'd never, obviously I'm not a big Cummins guy. But when you've got 3 different shops and 3 different foremen telling you that at the, back to back, obviously they're having a problem with it. So check it. If you've got a Cummins, you've got the X15, 17 to 21, check that. And then actually, as long as you're checking on it, if you've got a 22, phone in and find out, is this an issue, something I should be having a look at down the road? If it is, take it in. If you've got a 22, it's under warranty. Get it checked. So the next one is actually a little one, but you would think that almost all the manufacturers would be suffering from it. But from the information that we're getting, it seems to be primarily a Cummins issue. Their fuel filters are clogging, and it's primarily in cold weather. So for example, today it's cold. I don't know what it is right now. It started out at -40. Started out at -40 this morning. I think we're at about -25 right now. And as you see, my fingers are turning, like my hand is turning red. Cummins red, there you go, eh? But in this temperature, their fuel filters are clogging up. Now, I don't know if that's primarily, or if that's a Cummins issue, or if it's the kind of fuel filter that they're using, if it's the housing. I don't know, but they're bringing trucks in at a record rate and they're swapping fuel filters. And they've got reports of the guys putting brand new fuel filters on their trucks, and the guys making it 150 miles down the road, and bam, it clogs again. And again, it's primarily in this cold weather. Detroit doesn't seem to be having an issue with it. As far as I can tell, we didn't hear anything when doing our research on this. Volvo is not having an issue. It seems to be just a Cummins problem. So if you've got a Cummins and you've got fuel filter issues, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Shouldn't have bought a Cummins. Now, the last thing, it's again, I think every manufacturer has at some point or another from the time they started slapping these stupid things on trucks up until this day, is EGR and DPF. In my personal opinion, it's garbage. I hate them. I hate having them on my truck. I'm not a tree hugger. The emissions that these things save, I can't tell you whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's, you know, the government and everybody else has their numbers. These people got their numbers. Tree huggers got their numbers. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm way the hell off topic. Let's get right back onto the DPF. The Cummins has got same as Detroit, same as Volvo, same as PACCAR. They've got DPF issues and EGR issues. The EGR, your valves are sticking open. You've got carbon buildup that holds that valve open. That just allows pure exhaust to go in through the intake manifold and run through your engine. You're going to loss of power. You're going to get poor running conditions. You're going to get poor idling. The primary cause of that, what is it, folks? Come on, everybody in the whole bloody world knows what it is. Don't idle these things. You do not idle these pre-emission trucks. Either get yourself either get yourself, saved by Alana, get yourself an APU. Whether it be the battery pack or whether it be the diesel, get yourself something. Do not idle these trucks. They do not want to idle. You are going to cause EGR problems, and that's your valve that's just going to stick open. And then when that happens, what happens? You're going to have your cooler. What does the cooler do? It cools the air before it goes in. Well, what is it going to happen? You're going to be pushing raw, gross, dirty air in there. You're going to clog your valves. So do not idle the engines. But again, like Detroit, Volvo, everybody else, Cummins seems to be having the same problems. I don't think that this is ever going to be an issue that it's going to be 100% resolved. In my personal opinion, the only way to resolve it is to delete it, but hey, we're not advocates of that. We're going to stick with the technology and keep them on the trucks, but there are guys that have deleted it and taken the issue away, and you know, they've got their own issues to deal with, but hey, Cummins has a problem. What can you do? It's Cummins' problem.